Worship the Lord. I praise the Lord, the God of my master Abraham, who had led me on the right road to get the granddaughter of my master's brother for his son. Amen. Well, Book of John journey has ended in the beginning of last week, and we has begun our new journey into Book of Genesis, and we're already at chapter 24. I'm going to be talking about chapter 24, the whole chapter 24, but I'll try to make it short as possible. Chapter 24 is all about how Abraham is sending his servant to the far land, his homeland where he came from, and then look for the wife to be for Isaac. And this whole chapter, first half was yesterday, and it was talking about how Abraham is giving the mission, great mission, and getting his oath. And then he actually gets there. He gets to Rebekah's house. That was the whole story about it. And today, actually, is the testimony of the Abraham's servant. He gets to Rebekah's house, and they prepared a meal right in front of him. But then he said, "I'm not going to eat until I tell you the story." And that's how this half of chapter 24 begins. Today, I'm going to be talking about from the content of Abraham's servant's testimony, we could really see what he has actually experienced. But I'm not going to just talk about what he has experienced, but I'm going to talk about in the perspective of disciple making. This year, our Pneuma Chapel, we are in the journey of making disciples. The Lord has given us Matthew 28, and we are all under that commission to make, great commission to make disciples. And we're constantly thinking about making disciples of Jesus Christ. And when I was reading chapter 24, book of Genesis, I looked at this servant as the disciple of Abraham. Lifelong disciple, very interesting. And he, chapter 24, verse 1 and 2, this is how he was described. Abraham was now old and well advanced in years, and the Lord had blessed him in every way. He said to the chief servant in his house, the one in charge of all that he had, and he's very old. This servant, I'm thinking, when I was doing the meditation, I thought about this servant. Abraham has grown so much. Abraham, you know how old he is? Right now, he's 140 years old. Isaac is about to get married at age 40. He is the son Abraham got at age 100, right? So Abraham's age is 140. And Abraham, when he received the call from the Lord, that was age 75, chapter 12. And then he came all the way up to this land, Canaan, and he's been living here for a long time, 75 all the way to 140. He lives some more, right? He dies at 175. This servant's been with him, I think, all his life. At least that 75 of Abraham's age to 140, that's like how many years? 65 years he's been with him. And some historians, they're thinking that this servant's age is somewhere between 90 and 100. Can you imagine? Can you imagine Abraham is sending a servant, old servant, very old, but he is the one most trusted, because Abraham actually entrusted everything he had into him, his hands. So he's very trustworthy servant, and he is actually on his mission now to find a wife to be for Isaac. And I was making observation, what kind of disciple did he become? Because if he's been with Abraham for at least like 65 years, living with him and serving and doing everything next to him, he probably has experienced, Abraham interacting with God, and whatever Abraham is doing for God, he's actually experienced pretty much everything that Abraham went through. And I wanted to know what kind of heart does he have when it comes to relationship with God or existence of God, or can I believe God? That kind of stuff, But when I was reading and studying his testimony, I saw a lot, so much. This person has become real close in relationship with God. I want to share a few of them. First, he says, my Lord, my Master, God has blessed. So when I was reading this is how it began. So I had to read again and again. Okay, this disciple is looking at his master. His master became so rich and so big. Now he has concluded that this man became so rich and so big, all because of God. So he is telling this Rebecca's family that, hey, my master has become such a great man, and he has so much, he's rich. And he's telling them, this servant, in his mind, he has clear understanding of where the blessing is coming. I paused here and I thought, wow, am I rich? What do you think, people around me? You've been living right next to me for a long time. Am I rich? Yeah? Am I rich? How come no answer? I guess I'm not that rich, huh? When I ask you a question, the richness, we're all thinking money. But when Bible, is talking about richness, it's actually way more than money. Yeah, gold and silver and all kinds of, good stuff, we all want. But then richness goes much beyond that. And this disciple of Abraham has concluded that this all came from God. Do you see me like that? Do you see each other like that? Do you see what you have, what you possess? Do you see that as all from God? This disciple is so mature. This disciple, living all his life, pretty much all his life next to Abraham, he has concluded that, wow, all this came from God. God is an amazing God. And then he tells more story. He says, God has blessed him so much, and then he comes to description of how God has blessed him more with a son in his late age. Abraham got his son at age 100. And then he has commissioned me to go to this land to find a wife for him. To Abraham, sending somebody to find a wife for Isaac at his homeland, it has to do with the covenant of God, the promise of God that God has given him, all the blessings that God has given him. God has actually made a big promise, right? I'll make you a great nation, and I'll make your name great. All that. He is actually living and thinking and all that. So he's calling his servant and says, I don't want you to get the wife from this pagan land. I want you to go to homeland and find one from my family. And that's all in line of understanding how God is going to bless my son. Not just me, but my son, and after that too. So this servant has a great understanding about that, and he takes that with the oath. And he told his family, this is how it happened. Number 3, and then he said, he's sharing about his prayer. He told this Rebecca, this lady, wife-to-be, right? This lady's family, his testimony. when I got to the well, when I got to the well of your town, I was sitting there before anybody came out. I told God, Lord, bless me so I will be successful in this mission. Number one, that's the prayer. And then number two, he said, when I told God, he said, when the lady comes out, I'm going to ask her, could I have a cup of water? And if she responds that, yes, I will give you water, and I will also feed water to your all 10 camels. He made it very specific. And then he asked the Lord, and right before he finished his prayer, Rebecca walked to the well. And she is the first one to be there, and then she is the answer of his prayer. This disciple, I think, has so much understanding of living God. He's not in the area where, is God exist? Is he existing God or is he dead God? He has passed well that. And he has a deep understanding that Abraham's God is real God. And his God had blessed him all this way up to here, and also his son. And now God is actually with me in this journey, in this mission. And he is asking God from his own heart. He asked the Lord, Lord, you bless me. You have to. You know what that means? When this person actually pray to the Lord and he asks, Lord, I want you to bless me so I can be successful in this mission. What does it mean? He believes in the sovereign power of God. God is in full charge of this mission that he is in. And he has that understanding, and he prays. When the servant came from here, Canaan, all the way up to Mesopotamia, the journey is about 400 miles. For us to understand clearly, maybe better, our journey from here to San Francisco. That kind of journey, he has to carry 10 camels and lots of treasure and servants and soldiers, and he has come this far. And in that long journey, probably took 4 to 5 weeks without resting. The way he actually shown himself, the Rebecca's family said, could we have time with my daughter for 10 days? He said, please don't stop me. I need to go back. That's the kind of response and understanding he has. And his heart is so full of just accomplishing what his master has given. And probably he thought so much about finding a lady. What kind of lady would you look for if you were this servant? Would you look for a pretty woman for Isaac? Wise woman for Isaac? What kind of woman would you look for? And he has that responsibility to look for a woman for Isaac. And he has no actually detailed guideline. And he's asking God. And he says one thing, Lord, when a woman comes out, I'm going to ask her, can I have a cup of water? That's all I'm going to ask. And then when she says, yes, I'll give you water. And not only you, but I'll bring water to all your camels. Then I will know that you have led this woman to me. This disciple has very deep understanding about how God is in full control of moving people too. And that's why this servant is asking God, Lord, this is what I'm going to pray. And I'm thinking more and more about this man. And I think God has given him a deep understanding of how God is raising people. When he asked, Lord, I'm going to ask a cup of water, and when this woman not only gives me water and feeds all my camels, you know what that means? Does it come to you? That means a lot. Think about how much camel drink. I searched it, Google. How much does camel drink? How much water does camel drink in one sitting? I typed it in. And then, guess what? 25 gallons. 20 to 25 gallons of water. 10 camels. How much water? Minimum 200 gallons. This young lady has to draw water from the well. It looks like when the Bible is describing, she ran to that. Quickly, she ran to that well and she brought the water here. So it's not just, drawing the water, okay, here, you drink. It's not that kind of thing. She runs there and she actually draws at least 200 gallons. And then I read some materials from the old literature, found out old-time well, every time they draw water, how much water do they bring out each time? 2 to 3 gallons, max. That's the bucket they use, like 2 to 3. It's like 2-gallon milk you are carrying. That's the kind of weight you have, but then you have to do that 100 times. Is this woman dumb? Not thinking much, doesn't know. She just makes a problem, then think, oh, shoot. What did I do? No. Rebecca is a woman whose character is well built, serving stranger, but people who are in need. She has the heart, warm heart, mother's heart. Her brother said, you will be the mother of big family. That's how Laban said, her brother. Really, right? Abraham, Sarah, and then Isaac and Rebekah. And Rebekah is going to be the next mother of the big nation. And she has to have that kind of quality, that kind of heart. And this man has actually thought a lot. And she probably worked hard for many hours, counting actually in details. For you to draw 2-3 gallons each time and draw that 100 times, for a young man like me to work 3 to 4 hours. Wow. But this woman has done that. And this woman has actually offered that to feed all the camels. Isn't it amazing? God had listened to this servant's prayer, and God has actually brought her to his presence right there. When Abraham gave this mission to the servant's first worry was this: Master, what if she doesn't want to come here? Should I bring your son to there? That was the question. And the Lord said, no, I don't want you to take my son to that land, because God has promised us that he will give us this land to not only me, but our descendants. So my son will stay here. And then, guess what he said? Abraham said, but God will send his angels ahead of you. I'm thinking, wow, this servant is thinking, oh, yeah, master. That's one thing, right? Hearing somebody say, okay, God is going to send his angel ahead of you. Yeah, I know that. Bible talks about it a lot. But do you know God really sends his angels ahead of you? Do you believe that God actually goes ahead of you? How far? How early does he go? I always thought, okay, yeah, I believe. When servant goes over there, God probably is already there, and he's getting Rebecca ready to come out to the well. That's the way I thought. But then when I was reading again and again, how early did God get to Rebecca's life to prepare her character? Character doesn't, come to this kind of maturity with a serving heart, warm heart, mother's heart. It takes years and years. It takes many, many hands and touches and experiences. And God has already been there. Even before Abraham prayed, even before servant prayed, even before anything happened, even way before we can even imagine. This is what God is showing us. God actually goes far ahead. I was very humbled. I was very humbled. I'm thinking, look how much I have accomplished. I can't say that anymore because God has already went far ahead of me. He's the one who brought a lot of good people around me. He's the one who actually brought all the good resources far, far, even before I can even think about it, even before I can pray. God actually worked that much ahead. After he experiences all that, the servant, he actually knelt down and he worshiped God. I thought about worship again. Is worship something we can teach? I don't think so. Maybe we could tell people, okay, this is the time we sing, this is the time we pray, this is the time we bow down. Maybe we can do that. But what is true worship? Doesn't it have to come from our heart? It has to. Maybe Abraham didn't teach him at all. Okay, my servant, this is how you pray. This is how you worship. He didn't go through any of those kind of training. But who made him actually worship? God. By letting him experience God. He cannot not worship. He can. He cannot say, oh, wow, this is all God has done. God has done all these things. That's why I am this far, this much I have accomplished. And then he said, Lord had led me to the right road. He confesses that. God is the one who's in full charge. He's the one who has the sovereign power. He's the one who will accomplish everything that he has given us in our lives. Stand strong and press on in a deeper relationship with the Lord. 자, 오늘 여기까지 설교할게요. 자, 우리 한국말로 24장 40 창세기 24장 48절 다 같이